Where's my folks?
No, just drop it.
Oh, come on. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming, and special thanks to Chair Wyden and Senator Stabenow. Had I not become leader, you would have had the top 3 people on the Finance Committee, but now you have the top 2. Anyway, thank you for coming, but really for the tremendous work to get us here today. Tomorrow, senators will have a chance to take up a bill that in one fell swoop will deliver significant tax relief for American businesses, American families, American children. Not to mention, it's a wildly bipartisan bill. It passed the Republican-led House by 357 to 70. It's a bill that expands the child tax credit, and that's going to do huge good for our kids. 500,000 kids lifted out of poverty, 16 million kids, mainly lower income, middle income, getting some real tax relief. It helps reduce housing costs. I insisted that the low-income housing tax credit be added to the bill. It's a big expansion in an area we desperately need more housing at reduced costs, and the low-income housing tax credit will do that. It would end fraud in the employer retention credit, which allows processing of claims, and it has the relief, the tax relief for small businesses. Because when they are able to deduct the costs of research and development, the R&D credit, they'll be able to employ a lot more people. It goes to all businesses, and they're all going to, when they use it, it's going to really help. So this should be a no-brainer. Right now, the only ones standing in the way are Senate Republicans. Everyone else, even House Republicans, are for this. Look, this bill was negotiated between Senator Wyden, our Democratic chairman of the Finance Committee, and Congressman Smith, the Republican head of the Ways and Means Committee. It's as bipartisan as it comes. So the idea that this is a partisan issue is ridiculous. Yes, we want to show where our Republican Senate colleagues are. We want to show they're out of touch with their own House Republican colleagues, often who are more conservative than they are. So let's be real. It's never good. It's never a good sign to be further to the right than the House Republicans, but that's where the Senate Republicans have landed when they oppose this bill. And there's no reason why Senate Republicans oppose a bill that many of them helped write, and so many Republicans had input into. So don't take it from me. Listen to the senator from Missouri, the conservative Republican senator from Missouri, what he said about Republican leadership. Quote, "They're not interested in passing anything clearly." Let me say it again. They're not interested in passing anything clearly. You all know that Senate Republicans have been able to act again and again in a bipartisan way to get things done. CHIPS, infrastructure, veterans' health. But now Senate Republicans are tying their own hands. They're tying themselves in one big knot when it comes to a bipartisan tax bill that will benefit business, families, children, housing. Senate Republicans say they're champions of business, but they're blocking a bill that would reward businesses that invest in R&D. R&D has always been a standby, a deduction that has been used time and time again. So I say to my Senate Republicans, I say a sentence I never thought that I would. Do the right thing and follow your House Republican counterparts on growth, on innovation, and pass this bill. Chairman Wyden.
Thank you, Leader, and thank you for making it clear how important this is. I heard last couple of days some Republicans in the Senate claiming that this was a show vote. The fact is, we could have done this some time ago, except Senate Republicans have been no-shows. They've been no-shows on the big issues, helping kids, helping families, helping small businesses. The disaster, issue. We've got scores of people all across the country who got clobbered by disasters, and now they're getting clobbered again by an outdated tax code. We fixed that in this bill. Jason Smith and I made this a priority, and I want everybody to know that Republicans have said we'll put this off till 2025. You're probably not even going to get a big tax bill done in 2025. If we pass this now, we can get it to the president. and it'll be signed into law. The president's announced it. The vice president has said she's all for it. That's what's on the line here. And Republicans talk a lot about competing with China and helping small businesses. But ever since they messed up single-handedly, and I choose that word specifically, research and development credits back in 2017, they've been promising to fix it. They promised in 18 and 19 and 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24. Years and years of promises. Here's the time for making choices. You can choose to join all of us and the more than 350 members of the House of Representatives. Leader, we were talking about it. You and I remember, all three of us from our House days. You basically, in ordinary times, you can't get 357 people to agree to buy a piece of pie. We got 350.
Depends on the pie.
Well, and he happens to like pie, so the three of us would put it over. But, I mean, right now, 16 million kids are hoping that the Senate comes through for them tomorrow. More than 4 million small businesses are hoping that they don't have to go to banks and borrow or close their doors, and the Senate comes through for them. Same is true of families. And I'll close with this. You know, we're hearing a lot on the campaign trail about families and who's for families. Well, tomorrow, everybody in the United States Senate, every Democrat and every Republican, will have a chance to show not only are they for families, but they're for the big families. We could tomorrow end historic discrimination against those families with more than one kid. 70% of these families have more than one kid. Now, some of you are basketball fans sitting out there. We all are basketball fans. It's summer, you know, they get one check. I mean, one check doesn't buy sneakers for 3 or 4 kids. So this is a chance to actually not just talk about your admiration and affection for big families. You could do something about it middle of the day tomorrow and really give families something to look forward to as they work hard, play by the rules, and get ahead. Thank you, Leader.
Senator Stabenow.
Well, thank you so much, Leader Schumer and Chairman Wyden, working with Chairman Smith. I just want to echo, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. First of all, just to come together in the atmosphere that we're in, and to have a House and Senate agreement like this, as everyone has said, with more than 350 votes, is really incredible. This affects children, families, small businesses, those who are concerned about affordable housing, larger entities investing in innovation. I mean, this is really important. And I do want to stress that for millions of small businesses who want to innovate and want to expand, those who are worried about trying to keep their doors open, this is a bill that really is essential. I hear about it all the time in Michigan. And when it comes to the child tax credit, I mean, we're talking about giving parents some desperately needed breathing room in their, as they're caring for their children, whether it's paying for childcare, whether it's paying for clothes, or whether it's paying for those tennis shoes, or whatever is needed for their children. Just a little bit of extra help. Keep the lights on, keep food on the table. And we know that we are looking at 500,000 kids being lifted up out of poverty for this. This is a very big deal. 16 million children being affected. And we need to stress that for everyone who believes that it's important to support families, those families with children, this is the moment to be able to show that support. And one other piece that is so important, and Senator Schumer really was instrumental in this, relates to affordable housing. This is not just an urban issue. In northern Michigan, this last year meeting with a coalition of 15 small chambers of commerce all over northern Michigan, their top issue was affordable housing, making sure that people can live in these beautiful areas of our state, but don't have access to housing that they can afford. So it's a big deal for housing for people. It's a big deal for people with children. It's a big deal for our businesses, large and small. And it would be wonderful if we saw an overwhelming bipartisan vote tomorrow.
Questions on this subject? Yes, ma'am.
In terms of this bill, you know, you've talked about some of the criticisms from Republicans, valid or not, but some of them who want to support this say they really want an open amendment process. Why not let that happen? I know it's passed the House, but just why not let that happen?
Well, look, let them vote tomorrow on the motion to proceed, and then we'll see what happens. All we're doing voting on tomorrow is to open up the process, plain and simple. Let them vote for it. Why are they saying vote no? Yes.
Leader, can I add one thing quickly on that? We have tried again and again to get the Republicans to compromise with us on this. And I've talked to the leader about it. They said, for example, we were discouraging work. Joint Committee on Taxation says, no, the bill encourages work. But then we went to them and offered to take out some of the things that they didn't like. So the leader's point when he and I talked about it addresses your issue. We offered them compromises. They weren't acceptable to them.
We've been trying for months and months to get a compromise.
Exactly.
I told Ranking Member Craigbo, I told Chairman Smith, we're open to compromise. They are doing what the Republicans have done on bill after bill, whether it's border or AI or now crypto, which Debbie worked on. They just don't want to pass anything. They don't want to pass anything. That's not what the American people want. That's not what the American people are demanding. They're saying, do something to make our lives better. This bill does. Yes.
The likely result here that Senate Republicans do block this vote tomorrow, you know, what does that mean for next year and tell you about what the debate
Well,
is
look,
on tax cuts?
I think if they block the bill, they're going to feel a lot of pressure over August recess. And maybe they'll come back to us and say, okay, we're willing to negotiate. That's what we hope would happen. Yes.
The national debt just hit $35 trillion. Are you concerned that this is going to have a negative impact on that and send the wrong message?
You know, first, our Republican colleagues argue when you cut taxes on business, you reduce the deficit. And the R&D credit has proven to be a very, very successful measure of creating more jobs and bringing in more dollars. Yes.
Some members of your caucus say that the child tax credit provisions in this particular bill don't go far enough. They prefer the provisions from the American Rescue Plan. What's your message to Americans?
We all do. We all prefer the American Rescue Plan. It was one of the greatest things. It was one of the first things I did as majority leader. But this was a compromise. We had to deal with Republicans in the House. If we get back the Senate, we're sorry. If we keep the Senate, get back the House, win the presidency, we're going to go much further. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I'll stick around and give you the math on the fact that it's fully paid for. Joint Committee on Taxation, is $78 billion. Half goes to families, half goes to business, but it is a fully paid for effort, and that's not me, the Joint Committee on Taxation.